Practice report, Gretna. First off, let's start with the playlist. Whoever's in charge of making the playlist for the music at Gretna for practice, for football practice, is yeah, pretty good. So I enjoyed it. Okay, the knowns. Running back Isaiah Weber. He returns. He rushed for 928 yards last year, 12 touchdowns. He's going to be the guy again at running back. Looks good. Looked good today. Pretty offensive day today. Heavy offensive day today for the first day of practice. But you have Weber returning at running back. Aiden Roars, another guy at running back. Logan Sikora is probably another name you could see at running back. So feel really good about running back. Defensive back. It feels like there's about 50 defensive backs on this team that can make an impact. Joey Veith, though, returns the South Dakota State commit. He returns. He's long, athletic, pretty much kind of about as close to a lockdown corner as you can get. Also, there's Michael Sheaf, Caleb Sherman, Alex Runge was a safety last year. He had 2 forced fumbles and 4 interceptions for them. So there's a lot of depth there. Alex Wilcoxon, I'll get to him in a little bit, but he's obviously started for them at the opposite corner of Veith last year. Another known. Don't talk about kickers very much, but Cam Bothwell was 8 of 10 last year and pretty solid kicker and really good on kickoffs. Can really kind of hit that coffin corner and really good kickoff specialist too. Offensive line, feel really good about this unit for Gretna. They have 3 guys that are returning starters. There's a 2-year starter in Benny Stock. Griffin Goldman rotated in a little bit too. Also another starter was Calvin Jansen, and Aaron Sibley was a starter that returns too. So feel really good about the offensive line for the Dragons. The unknowns, pretty easy one to start off. Quarterback is a little bit of an unknown just because Zane Flores is not playing quarterback. It's not a knock on anybody else, but when you have one of the best, if not the best, I guess my opinion, the best quarterback to ever play high school in Nebraska, it's an unknown. But Alex Wilcoxon is great. He's a great high school quarterback. He's super smart. He's talented enough. He can run the ball. He will probably play a little bit of both ways, which is unique for a quarterback. Yes, he's not Zane, but he's going to handle the position really, really well. The reason why it's unknown is, Zane was a 3.5-year starter, so replacing him is a big deal. There's a couple of other quarterbacks too. Jacob Mowinkle and Michael Knutson are 2 guys that I liked at practice today. Throw a good ball, understand the offense, those sort of things. But Wilcoxon it's his job. Defensive line is another question or unknown, just because you replaced Corver Dema, who had 20 tackles for loss and 12 sacks last year. That's a lot of productivity to replace, but they feel good about a handful of players. Griffin Goldman's one. They'll play both ways. Jace Wilson's another guy. Blake Hawkins, I'll get to him in a little bit. And Braden Jacobson is another one kind of on that defensive line or defensive front. Another unknown, linebacker. There's plenty of depth at linebacker. It's really good athletic depth, but you're replacing Ethan Sturr, who was a team leader with 101 tackles last year. Harrison Weber had 10 tackles for loss last year. You're replacing those 2 guys. There's guys there. Like I said, Isaiah Weber will probably be a 2-way guy, running back and middle linebacker. Caleb Sturman, Jack Rhodes, Jaden Holston's another guy, maybe outside guy. Max Bessio's another name to watch, I guess, at that linebacker position. Wide receiver, again, you're replacing a lot of productivity. The 4 leading receivers from last year are not here. They all graduated. But, again, nice depth there. Joey Veith is a guy that will probably play both ways too. Big, long, athletic guy, can play receiver. Michael Sheaf's another one. Jaden Holston, I liked him kind of a lot today at practice. Going to be tough to tackle, kind of strong bodied guy. There's a ton of depth at wide receiver. They have about 50 wide receivers. Same thing with defensive backs. So the only reason why those are the unknowns, again, is just replacing a ton. Breakout guy, for me, I think it's going to be Blake Hawkins, senior defensive lineman. He has not missed the weight room, looks like ever in his life. Definitely a get off the bus guy. He should have a big year for them, particularly getting pressure on the quarterback, kind of making a bunch of tackles, kind of in that Corver demo mold. He's not as tall as him, but man, he looks good off the hoof, if you will. A Damon Benningism there with the off the hoof. So that'll do it from Gretna, and see you tomorrow.